All right, welcome back. Now we're going to go down to the West region, where the quite controversial number 1 seed Oregon will take on the number 16 seed. Well, either Holy Cross or Southern. That game is still in progress.
That game has to be over.
You think so?
I mean, that first.
Jeff, what you got?
That first segment took years.
It didn't take years, everybody.
No,
you can still watch it on YouTube. You'll be fine.
No, we got Holy Cross.
Holy Cross moving on.
59-55 win.
Okay,
So the game is a final.
It is final, folks.
It's a final.
You heard it here first. Last. Oregon's taking on Holy Cross. I don't think Holy Cross is very good at all because they're a 16 seed, and that's why they had to play in as a 16 seed. I'm taking the Ducks all the way. I don't think that should be very difficult here.
I mean, I think they scored 20-something odd first half points in their playing game. There's no need for anything here. It's Oregon.
No, it's Oregon.
Yeah. We're moving on to the 8-9 matchup, St. Joseph's versus Cincinnati. Karl, how do you feel about these teams?
Well, interestingly enough, actually, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be back.
Just say it.
I can't show any affiliations. St. Joseph's out of the A10, Cincinnati out of the American Athletic. I like St. Joseph's here. I think they had a strong year. Cincinnati, I feel like Mick Cronin had to beg his way into the tournament a lot like Boheim did. And I'm going to do St. Joseph's. St. Joseph's.
Karl's spitting a little hot fire there. Jeff, what you got for us?
St. Joseph's, as Karl pointed out, they're trying to pull something up here. Sometimes you just got to go with your gut, and my gut tells me that St. Joseph's is good.
All right, St. Joseph's moving on. In my opinion,
Cincinnati, I still think about Cincinnati. All those times when they were such a high seed losing, even though that hasn't happened in years, but they always seem to just crap out in the tournament. They always do. Something about them. I just don't like them.
Fair enough. The 5 seed, the Baylor Bears, taking on the Yale
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. Oh, see,
Yeah.
I don't care about any of those smart people's schools.
Who would win in a fight, a bear or a bulldog?
A bear, pretty easily.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure those dogs were bred to kill bulls. That's why they're called a bulldog.
So what does it have to do with fighting a bear? A bear would beat a bull too.
I mean,
listen, we don't have time for this, folks.
Do you think so?
Yeah, props.
I mean,
It's
bull would just have
It's
a
fucking bear, Karl.
It's
a bear, Karl.
It has huge horns.
It has huge paws.
I just had to run at it and go, ugh. That's all
it's
you
what
have
you
to
do because its face is clawed off.
Yeah, because
Plus the bear wants to eat steak.
I'm sure it's headed.
Stop! We're getting off track. Do you want to go 32 minutes again? Stop it. Anyway, point is, I think Baylor's a very good team. I think they lost some games that they shouldn't have lost. I think their rankings are pretty good all over the place. Their conference record kind of stinks, but I think that they're better than advertised. Personally, I don't think there's going to be an upset here. I'm going with Baylor. Jeff, what do you got?
Clearly, the biggest factor coming into this game is the whole Yale thing.
Which is?
Probably closet homosexuals that do a lot of cocaine. Taking that into consideration, Baylor is usually the team in this one that plays the more up-tempo style. So if, while being hopped up on all that cocaine, Yale is able to match their intensity, I think it'll be a big shock to Baylor. Plus, Baylor letting their opponents hit 37.1% of their threes. Yale gets hot. Who knows? I think Yale could pull off the upset in this one, but again, the cocaine factor, I think I have to go with Baylor in this one. I don't think there's going to be an upset.
Do you have anything to add to this, Karl?
I don't believe so. I mean, just a classic 12-5, you always got to be on your toes here, but I think you're going to be pretty safe with this one.
Okay. That brings us to the 4-13 matchup. UNC Wilmington. What are they?
They are the Phoenix. Holy crap.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
They definitely win the nickname war.
You can't ignore that.
Against
Wait,
the fucking... What?
I think it's the Green Bay Phoenix.
Damn it. Well, we're going to be really excited when we get to Green Bay later.
Just hold on. We'll get that in post.
Yeah, it's not important. So, anyways, they're taking on the Duke Blue Devils, and I'm going to cut right to Jeff, who is our resident Duke expert.
Well, Duke, they've had their ups and downs this year. They don't have much senior leadership. again, like a lot of Duke teams, they live and die on the 3-point shot. Very little inside presence. After Plumlee, very weak inside, not much depth. But I think still in this one, they're able to pull this off. Brandon Ingram, projected top 2 NBA pick. He can really play. I think he'll lead them in this one. Him and Grayson Allen, who looks just like Joffrey Baratheon.
Is he eligible for the game with all the tripping suspensions, or
He is. They haven't sanctioned him yet.
okay?
But yeah, he's he looks just like Joffrey Baratheon.
I hope he doesn't choke.
See how
Okay,
tie it
so
together?
Jeff's going with the Duke. Carl,
Yes.
do you see the upset?
I sniff. I'm gonna put this one on upset alert. I am. I'm gonna. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
So you're taking Duke still?
I'm gonna take Duke, but it's gonna be a good game. I feel like it kicks off the tournament.
Wow,
I believe it's the first game of the
hyped.
tournament.
It is.
Get hyped.
And it's gonna get you in the mood. It's gonna do it. It's gonna be a 7-8 point game. I think at the end of it.
They're the
Okay.
Seahawks, by the way.
The Seahawks.
Yeah.
Don't see that happen.
It's sad.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. 6-11 matchup. Texas
believe they
Longhorns
didn't
versus
run the ball?
Northern Iowa Panthers.
Panthers.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. Shaka Smart coaching the Texas Longhorns now, before he used to be the mid-major darling who would pull all these cool upsets. Now he's kind of on the other side of the coin here. Personally, I don't think Northern Iowa is as good as Northern Iowa teams of the past, of yore, if you will. I think that Texas is kind of going to walk through this one. I don't think it's going to be that close, maybe 10-ish points, unless you consider that close. I personally don't. I'm picking Texas. Jeff, what do the stats say?
Well, you got Texas coming into the game. They're 27 in the RPI rankings. Again, I think the NCAA tournament, winning in the tournament, it's all about coaching. Shaka Smart has proven that he can lead his teams far into the tournament. And I think he does that here, and he leads them to the win in this one.
Alrighty.
I would go with Texas.
Texas will move on in our bracket as we continue to chalk it up. Carl, tell us about the 3-14 matchup.
I would love to, actually. Texas A&M Aggies versus, now get this, the Green Bay Phoenix.
What?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
That's
I
amazing.
know, trust me.
The Phoenix.
And their mascot is called Flash the Phoenix. P-H-L-A-S-H.
See, now that ruined it for me.
Yeah, it's
That's pretty
pretty
lame. Come on. I mean, they're only Green Bay. Like, how smart are they? Let's be legit here. Do you see an upset? You sniff one? Not for me.
I don't think I do. I mean, it's the tournament. Anything can happen.
Although I will say that anything can always happen, but I do, again, like we talked about in the South Conference, now we're getting to a Texas A&M matchup.
I
feel
didn't
like
want to say it yet because I wanted to make sure you guys were on board with it.
Super on board with that. Super on board. A three-way super on board.
The committee.
We're super on board with 3 ways.
Wow. We'll get to this in a few.
Where'd you know? I'm just gonna move A&M along right now.
Okay,
We
yeah,
don't really
let's
need to
just
talk
do
about
that.
like the best thing about the Phoenix, or that they're called the Phoenix.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the Oregon State Beavers versus the VCU
Rams.
Those ones, yeah, Rams.
Mhm.
I kept on calling them Commodores. Carl, who do you like here? Yeah, no, that's not that. Vanderbilt. Continue on with people.
I personally just hate the Pac-12. I think they're the most overrated Power 6 conference.
In all of college sports.
Yes,
and
for
I mean,
all.
just awful. And then they get so many teams every year in the tournament, and it's, what are you doing here, committee? Realize that they're not good.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I don't know if VCU is a team of yore. That being, I take VCU. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. I'm gonna take VCU. Stay with it. See what you guys think.
Jeffrey.
Oregon, like you said, coming out of the Pac-10, those West Coast teams, very passive-aggressive, laid-back style.
Surfers.
And as you know,
It makes me
the tournament
sick.
is all about being aggressive.
The tournament is all about being aggressive. That's how you win in the NCAA tournament. Is playing aggressive. I think VCU does a very good job of that, and I have them moving on.
Are they still running the Havoc there, or did Shaka take that with him to Texas?
They run their variation of it, but really only Shaka Smart's really the only one that really can truly run that type of system.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Who did you have here? Like your
I was actually going to go with VCU 2,
Okay, good.
and apparently VCU 3. LOL, so that's the 2-15 matchup now is Oklahoma versus CSU Bakersfield.
When I think of Bakersfield, I think of them more for their baseball rather than their basketball.
Not their
program.
bakeries? Pastries, bitch.
That's a good point.
Really, I don't know. I'm sure the spread on this is probably 20 some odd points, and it should be probably higher. I'm going to take the Sooners.
14.5.
Oh, really?
14.5.
Wow.
Which you look at the RPI rankings coming in, this Oklahoma's at 6, Bakersfield's at 124. You would think the spread would be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So
Especially when you got Buddy Hield on Oklahoma. I mean, National Player of the Year candidate. I think he should take it.
yeah.
And
Let's not forget that Oklahoma's playing in Oklahoma. Like, it's basically a home game.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how well the CSU Bakersfield fans travel, but there's probably only 15 of them anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, nobody here even sniffs an upset. Why are we wasting our time talking
I
about
don't want to tell you to bet the house, but
Bet the house.
Bet the house.
It's not even my house, so I'll bet it. All right, let's go. Okay, moving on. So now we're in the second round, and we have the Ducks taking on the Hawks of St. Joseph's. Anybody smelling an upset here? Jeff, what do you got?
I don't trust Oregon. I think that they're overseeded. But I believe they will advance in this one, and they have shown that they are a solid team this year. I would take them to advance in this one.
Okay, Karl, what you got?
you know, I'm right with Jeff. I'm right with him. I think they're gonna hit a wall real soon.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like one of those things that you go through a subway. What do they call those? Where you
Turnstile?
a turnstile. This is more like a turnstile for them. They might give them a little bit of trouble, but I think
Oregon wins in the end. Yeah, I think we're all agreeing there. So the 4-5 matchup, Duke versus Baylor. Personally, I think this is actually, it's not a 4-5 matchup. It's not that much of an upset, but I actually think the Baylor Bears are gonna run over Duke. It's not going to be an easy matchup, but I feel like that Baylor, in the end, will pull it out. Duke guy, what you got?
I do not like Duke this year. I don't like their team. Again, they have very little depth. They have very little inside presence. Losing Emil Jefferson this year has been a major blow to them, and I see them not advancing past 32. I see Baylor winning this one.
yeah, with the absence of Jabari Parker, that
Right.
was all.
And Emeka Okafor
Yeah.
not being there, or Jaleel Okafor, his cousin.
Yeah.
Same family.
And I'm really glad. I honestly thought that I was going to have to break up a tie there, and I'm glad that I didn't because I was also going to go Baylor. So.
Wow, lots of Baylor going on.
Baylor.
Moves on to the 6-3 matchup, the Battle of Texas.
And I gotta tell you, you gotta figure that the committee had this one right up their sleeve, right up
To
there.
put the Battle of Texas in Oklahoma? Because that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, even the Red River rivalry in football, you know what I mean? They want to.
I'm saying.
They get the fans there, and it's like a neutral court supposedly, but everybody's rooting against everybody.
Okay, so Texas A&M versus Texas A&M. Karl, who you got?
And I suppose.
And moving on. I'm going to take the Longhorns with the slight upset just because I want to take them.
I would take A&M.
A&M moving on.
Yeah, I would take A&M on this one.
All right, that's cool. That leaves us with the 10 seed VCU pulling that slight upset over Oregon State versus Oklahoma, which again is in Oklahoma, and I think Oklahoma should be the 1 seed in this bracket. I think they have a better shot. I actually like them better than Oregon, but maybe we'll talk about that in a bit. I think Oklahoma has a shot to win it all. They're a very, very good team. Personally, I'm just going with Oklahoma. I don't think VCU can beat them.
And like you said, they are playing at home.
Yeah, it's basically home.
Granted,
Oklahoma moves on.
Yes.
So we have our next round matchup. Oregon Ducks, Baylor Bears. Jeff, is Baylor the wall that Oregon might run into?
Baylor is the wall that Oregon runs into.
Wow.
I just think that Oregon, their style of play, it doesn't mesh well with advancing this late in the tournament. Baylor plays a very up-style type of game.
Tempo is important.
Yeah, the tempo is critical in the tournament.
Critical.
And I have Baylor advancing. I think Oregon will be the first one that goes out.
What do you got for me?
Oh no, it's your turn.
No. You've deflected to me
Okay, that's
numerous
fine.
times.
Then that's fine. I'm taking Oregon. Karl, who you got?
This is the wall, the impenetrable wall
Wow.
that that Oregon hits, I should say.
I love it.
It's when, what's that thing where with a movable object, unstoppable force,
Boom.
Baylor comes out on top.
Baylor, moving on. The Elite Eight.
Yep.
To play Texas A&M or Oklahoma. Karl, you want to start us off with this one?
Yeah, I'd love to. Buddy Hield, once again, just going to take over the game. He's going to dominate. Like you said, Oklahoma might be one in other people's minds, and I'm going to take them.
Jeff.
Buddy Hield this year, he's shown flashes of greatness, but he has also shown that he really can shit the bed on occasions. I think that this is where once they leave home court, they're going to have trouble on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe A&M in this one is going to come out on top.
Wow, that's a strong call. That leaves it on me. Both of you make good points, but again, I kind of consider Oklahoma still kind of a slight favorite to maybe even win the whole shebang here. A&M is a good team. Obviously, they're a 3 seed for a reason. But I kind of thought Texas was going to beat them, so I can't exactly keep vote for them to win now. So I'm going to stick with Oklahoma.
As you know, it's all about matchups in the tournament.
That's what
So
I hear.
how well does X match up against Y?
Well, I don't know which one's which, because it's Oklahoma and A&M. There's no X's and Y's here. Maybe some X's and O's, but...
X is...
Alright, anyway. I'm still going to go with Oklahoma here. Not much of an upset, obviously, because it's not an upset. So I'm just going to move Oklahoma on, where they'll take on the Baylor Bears for the right to go to the Final Four and take on Kansas. Boy, Baylor had a pretty magical run with what we got going on here. They defeated Oregon. I think they're actually going to end up putting everything they have into beating Oregon, and I think this is actually where they're going to run out of steam. Like I said, I like Oklahoma a lot. I think they're going to beat Baylor to move on to the Final Four. Karl.
Why don't we send it over to Jeff?
We're going to send it to Jeff.
Well, see, in this one, this is where it gets difficult. I had A&M coming out of this bracket, so I think the winner of that Oklahoma A&M game is going to be the team that comes out of this bracket. So I guess in this case, if my option is Oklahoma versus Baylor, I would have to go with Oklahoma because, again, I think Baylor, with their style of play, with the way they run like they do, I think that really wears on a team. And I think at this point in the season, this is going to be almost their 38th game of the season or something like that.
Games.
That's a lot of games. I would go with Oklahoma to come out of this bracket then.
All right, Oklahoma will move on. Karl, were you going to take Baylor?
I was thinking about it, but if you guys split it, I was going to go to the coin flip, Scott.
Okay, well, that makes Oklahoma coming out of the West of the Final Four. We'll be right back with the East bracket after this.